Keme, here to talk to us about the BSI investment proposal. On our couch this morning, we have Mr. Oscar Alonzo, the BSCFA Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Adalid Wicab, who is the Chairman of the Committee of Management, Mr. Javier Keme, who is the Finance Committee Chairman. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes. Thank you for
having us this
taking
morning.
the drive down to come and visit us on our couch here in Belize City. Go ahead. So recently we had ASR BSI here to talk to us about the investment proposal and of course how things have been going over since the past couple years. So we want to get your perspective on how it has been going on the BSCFA side. So we could start with you.
And good morning. My name is Wicab, and we are here to speak about the proposal and the condition and how the condition is affecting the cane farmers. No?
Okay.
So that's what we are here. Now we have the CEO that he will be speaking more about this.
Okay, we don't want to focus a great deal on what BSI proposes to do to invest. No, they have already explained that. No, okay. As you know, the farmers would welcome any investment that would increase sugar production. We need more markets. We need more to sell more products abroad, because that in effect would mean that the farmers will be able to produce more cane, earn more income. We want that, right? That is no doubt what it is that we should be working together as partners in the industry. However, what we are concerned about, right, is the conditions that BSI is imposing in order to do this investment, right? As you know, last month they sent us a letter officially informing us of this intention to invest the $22 million in order to expand direct consumption sugar, from 30,000 tons as it is right now to 50,000 tons, right? But they also informed us that there are 4 conditions that they require us to accept in order to do that. We met with them afterwards, our directors, right? But prior to that, we had invited the other 2 associations, the Corozal Sugarcane Producers Association and the Progressive Sugarcane Producers Association, to let us share, right, what information we had, to let them see what BSI was proposing to us and let them find out from them if BSI was proposing the same thing, discuss it, analyze it, and see what implications it had for all our members, and if necessary, present a common position to BSI. However, they refused to meet with us, and this is why we went ahead and asked BSI, well, come, tell us what is it that, give us more details on this situation. They came, they provided some details, and then, but however, during that meeting, they want the directors to make an immediate decision to accept those conditions. And we told them we would gladly want to give you a decision, but our statutes do not allow us to operate in that fashion. We first have to go to our members, inform them what it is about, because this is a serious proposal, and let them decide, right, if they accept it or not. To do that, we have to have our branch meetings. We have 18 branches, and to enable maximum participation with them, we have to allow at least a day for each meeting, right? Since they are scattered all over the 2 districts. They agreed to that more or less, and then what we did, we set up the calendar of meetings. We presently, we have already started them. Okay, we're halfway through. We should be finished by next week, and invited them because we said, okay, since it is your proposal, right, it's best for you to come and present it to all members at this branch meeting. Give them an opportunity to hear from you what it is that you want to do, and also for them to be able to ask you any question or any clarification. Then we would present what it is that it means to our farmers, right? And you will be present also to see what we are saying, so that then you have the opportunity to ask in front of our members anything that that you are not too happy with, right?
Yeah.
On our presentation. We started the first meeting.
And they agreed to that. They have been joining you in the presentation.
They agreed to that, and it's on that basis that we started to announce the meetings, right?
Okay.
In indicating to the members, to the farmers, that BSI will be present. However, the first meeting we had was in San Lazaro branch, which is the branch of the chairman. They came, right? They came, and we gave them all the freedom. However, the farmers were very participatory. They asked a lot of questions, and apparently it seems they didn't like the question. They couldn't provide some answers, okay, to some of the questions then. And since then, they have not attended the rest of the meetings, okay. But nevertheless, we had set up the calendar because they said it was urgent for them to have a decision quickly, because they needed to begin to make the investments, because it will take a period of 18 months, and that it would for it to become beneficial to the farmers. Anyway, what we want to focus is on the conditions, right? And there are 4 basic conditions that they have presented for the acceptance of this, for them to invest.
Yeah.
The first one has to do with to move the signing of the strategic development plan from the contract right now.
Separate it.
Separate it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Don't have it as an obligation, right? You could still try to do it, right, as a goal, but separate it from a condition in the contract. But in the contract, it is stated clearly, right, that the BCFA and the company and the government would sit together within the first year of signing the contract, prepare the strategic development plan, and sign it. If this does not happen, okay, then either party, the BCFA or BCI, right, without any restriction, would have the right to terminate the agreement 3 years after the signing of the, which means that the 3 years is coming up on the 18th of January 2018, right? And now they're saying they want that condition to be removed from the contract, right?
And there's been no work done on the strategic development.
Yes. We started work immediately, right?
Alone or with the other counterparts?
Together.
Okay.
Not the 3 associations, right? The government of Belize. In fact, it was chaired by the CEO of the Ministry of Agriculture, Abuche, right? And BSI. So we did start work with it, but the plan has not been completed. A framework, a logical framework has been completed, which BSI has been trying to sell as a plan. And we're saying, no, it is just a framework. It has some ideas of what should be in the plan. But the problem with this is why we hadn't been able to finish it, because it was extended to July last year when discussions were suspended. One, we cannot reach agreement on what should be in a plan. Okay? Our view is that the plan should be comprehensive. It's just like when you make a plan for a building, right? It has to have all the different parts, the roof, the floor, the doors, the windows, okay? However, in this plan, focus is being centered by BSI mostly on the farmers' responsibilities or the farmers' commitments in it, right? Which relates to the production of sugarcane. One, they say that we should focus on the improving productivity, right? Producing more cane on less land, trying to reduce the cost of cultivation and harvest, right? All those things that would make production of cane increase from where it is right now to about 1.4, 1.8 million tons, right? So they want to see the cane in the field first.
Yeah.
We're saying no. If we're going to do that, then milling capacity has to be increased from where it is, right?
Yeah.
Has been at 1.3 to the 1.6 or 1.8, so that both are moving in tandem, right? So that we don't want that when the cane is there, we already had an experience that farmers produce cane. When you came in, you said, produce all the cane that you want, we'll mill it. We did it, we reached 1.7 million tons. We were not able to mill it, we were left with cane in the field. Farmers unable to meet their debt obligations with the financial institute, so on.
But let me jump in here, because what I'm hearing from you is the details of the strategic development plan itself. But the proposal as it's put forward is saying that there is still a priority to develop the strategic development plan, but BSI is proposing to remove it from the current agreement with the cane farmers. So what is the objection to this particular route? Do you feel that not having it as a part of the agreement, that somehow it will not be given the same level of attention?
No, the problem here is, right, okay, if we accept that condition, right, it means then that the current agreement will continue its course to 7 years. Okay, as it is right now, because we did not fulfill that commitment, okay, then we as I said, BSI or BSCFA can terminate the contract and renegotiate a new contract. Okay. However, they have been trying to portray the idea that renegotiation will mean renegotiation of the entire contract, which is not so, right? Any two commercial parties, when they have a contract, right, they tend to renew and renegotiate only aspects that have been affected by conditions that have occurred, right? And clearly, we have seen over the past 3 years certain things that have happened that have affected us, right? That need to be looked at through a process of negotiation. However, BSI, they want to have it removed, right? And to gain only there. So we're saying it's not fair. We're saying that condition, our farmers are saying that condition is unacceptable. You, in good faith, when you sign the contract, agree that if certain things that happen, we will start to negotiate. Now, the second condition that they want, right, is they want to retain the formula for the payment of bagasse, right? Now, you will recall that in that same agreement, they agreed that after 3 years, we will revisit the formula for the bagasse, right? But to do that, they will provide us with all financial information from Belcogen's operation, okay? Now, if we accept the condition to
continue the current formula.
They're saying, let us keep the current formula, right? And that means it will continue for the rest of the 4 years. What will happen? We will not have the opportunity to find out exactly how Belcogen operated, right? And whether there's an opportunity to negotiate a better deal for the bagasse. Because the way it is being paid right now, they are basing the payment on the price of sugar, right? We are saying that bagasse does not produce sugar. Bagasse produces electricity. Therefore, bagasse should be based on the price of electricity. And we have seen data from the Belize electricity reports which shows that there has been now a very significant increase in the sales of electricity by BSI, Belcogen to BSI, right?
About 15%.
Okay, so there's scope to really let us sit down. If it is not possible, all right, but just don't come and tell us, take it out, right? Because you want to invest. Offer us this lollipop of an investment so that then we take out that condition. The third condition has to do with they want to clarify, right? The participation of BSCFA in any future investment of any new byproduct. Well, we know that sugar cane, right? Can not only produce sugar, bagasse, and molasses. It can produce ethanol, right? You can get building materials from it. You can get fertilizer and products from it. So there's quite a range that you can get from the cane. Now, what happened as a result of negotiation, we lost three things. One, we lost the period of the agreement. Usually, the agreement would only run 3 years. We had to sign an agreement for 7 years, right? Secondly, we lost on the formula for the bagasse, where they're saying that the formula should be used based on the price of sugar rather than the price of electricity. Thirdly, we lost the ownership of the cane, right? Okay. So this clause here, we agreed on it to have this hope that we know that there's a possibility of future investment, that we can participate in the discussion of the investment, even though we cannot put a pen in it, and also in the sharing of the income, right? Because that product will derive income from our cane, right? Okay. So, and the last condition is that right now a hidden cost be documented, and the cost is the cost of producing direct consumption sugar. At the moment, it is not in the contract, but yet it is being deducted, right, from the sales proceeds of the direct consumption sugar before they get the 35%. So they're getting the $120 per ton to produce the direct consumption sugar, and they're also getting 35% on the net trade value. Now we're saying, in that same net trade value, we need to negotiate an improvement. Why? Because remember in July last year, they lost molasses, and they deducted 13 cents per ton of cane from cane farmers in the final payment to cover the cost of this molasses. Right? We objected. We're saying that no way in the agreement you can do that legally. They said yes. We said why they couldn't do it, because the agreement says that once you get the cane from us at the scale, it becomes your property.
Yes.
So whatever you produce on it is your responsibility. So we shouldn't be sharing any cost of any loss. They say no. The definition of net strip value says that the net strip value will be calculated on the realized proceeds, right? So the molasses was lost, right? We couldn't sell it, so no proceeds were realized. So they were saying you can't get anything. And this is where we're saying, well, okay, to avoid, we had to take legal action in order to have the farmers regain that thing. We were able to get an out-of-court settlement on the matter, and the farmers were able to get them the money that was taken out. We want to avoid that in the future then. Any commercial relationships, we look at things that happen, see how we could improve it. And this is where then, since we agreed that we can negotiate, let's sit down and see how we can improve, but not one-sided. You only want on improvement.
That was going to be my question. I actually have two questions from what you said, and let me start with the proposals as they have been put forward by ASR BSI. You said very clearly just now that you want to have a negotiation process. Have you gotten any indication as to whether or not ASR BSI is open to getting the feedback from the farmers and being able to perhaps make adjustments depending on the agreement that you can come up with?
Well, Marlene, good morning.
Good morning, and if I may comment on this, the approach of BSI this time with this proposal of investment came similarly as the past negotiation with the present agreement. They came with this proposal. Here we have a plan to invest, but we need you to comply with this request of amending the agreement. So it is not it was not a position where we can sit and negotiate, right? So it was actual, how would I put it, an obligated position that they came.
So it's a yes or no.
Yes or
you
no.
either accept the proposals as
yes.
It's a
or don't.
position, right?
And position.
Their requirements, okay? Look, what they're doing, we don't have anything against it. Any businessman will try to see how to
Well,
get
I mean, we
the same
cannot
deal, right?
forget the
But then-
context of what is happening at this point. This is a make or break year. You need to prepare for what will happen once the end of the preferential agreement with the EU. And this has been something that has been a part of the conversation for a long time. So it's a very critical time for the industry.
It is, Marlene, but there is an issue.
That the question was raised at the first meeting, that is if there is any guarantee that BSI would do this investment. Because if we accept the conditions, that would be now. And they said that the investment would be in a period of 18 months. That's a year and a half. It will not be, not even this year, right? So it will not affect this present crop. So that is the
That's the main area of
exactly. There is no certainty on if it will happen.
The other issue, they have said that they will pay the farmers $2 additional per ton of cane, right? If we accept this investment, if we accept the conditions, right, so that they go ahead with the investment, they'll be able to sell the DC sugar in the CARICOM market, right? And based on that, they'll be able to pay $2. We tell them, look, let's put that in the agreement then. Give us that guarantee. Guarantee that you make the investment, guarantee to make the payment. They said no, but yet they want us to
So that's a
sign,
verbal commitment.
Right, no. They're saying also that to sell this product in the CARICOM market, they have to get agreements from the heads of government that the common external tariff, right, be set. And this is a process. We met with the minister on Monday, and we put to him our position too. And we were told by the ministry, right, that this process will take about a year or 2 years. So there's no certainty that this thing will be even approved. So what happens now? If in December, right, nothing has started yet, they have not even started to invest, but yet we were supposed to have started to negotiate in January, they would have gotten what they wanted, and then we would have been stuck, right? Stuck with a situation where we cannot even try to say, well, look, come to them and say, look, new developments have occurred, can we negotiate? Because that would have put us that would have set the table for the next 4 years for them.
You know, CEO, I just want to jump in a little bit because I feel like hearing the public listening would think of it as, oh, this big company coming in and taking advantage of local cane farmers. And I feel that you have enough buying power and you have enough intellectual power to come up with a system that allows for an environment and negotiation. And right now it just seems like a little bit of piece of everything. So in terms of the need for a system of negotiation, what are the steps taken from the perspective of BSCFA and BSI to formulate a body or a system that allows for continuous conversation and continuous negotiations instead of just having, oh, well, let's get an attorney here or there, or let's ask the ministry here or there. What steps are taken to fill that gap?
To give you an example, with the molasses, when that thing occurred, because we are in constant dialogue, right?
Yeah, this was the Maillard reaction with the
Maillard
molasses.
We are in constant. Every month we meet during the crop to discuss the progress of the crop, what needs to be adjusted, what needs to be done. With this thing with the molasses, when we met, the chairman of the sugar industry control was there, right? Present and everything. They just came, bam. Look, we lost it. You have to meet the cars and so on. We said, look, let's discuss this thing. No, there's no discussion. It's already in a letter that we sent to you. They even sent the letter with the estimate already including, right? Okay, so we continue. We tell them, let's sit down. Do not do it. But the thing is, you're talking about a mechanism for negotiation. For negotiation to take place, both parties must be willing to negotiate. Okay, we are willing to negotiate. Okay, because it's already provided for. When we signed the contract, we in good faith signed it with the intention that in 3 years, let's sit down, let us review what has happened. It's not only the aspects that affect your side that should be looked at and taken into account. I agree. They bring the specter of the European market, right? October 20. They knew that from way back, and we told them, look, what are you doing to find new markets? That is your job. You came in here with the promise of finding new markets, right? You should have been doing that a long time ago. It has nothing to do with the agreement. The agreement tries to see how it improves relationships internally inside of Belize, right? In order to get these things achieved, right? And then you have not been moving in that direction, right? So the thing is, a matter of credibility too. When they came in 2012, it's the same approach they're doing now. They're presenting a beautiful picture, which is good. At the time, we embraced it and we took it to our farmers. But then what? We got burnt in a sense because the proposals that they made were similar. They proposed to invest $40 million to improve the mill and boil cogen. Okay? I think when they were here, they had a pamphlet that's saying that they invested actually $50 million and they tried to put things. Now the question arises, how do we prove that they made that investment? We don't have no documentation
and that
from
has
them.
been a long-standing issue that you don't get disclosure in terms of
they only give
budget.
us information that they want.
Let me get in a point here because I think we don't want to miss it and it is important. Oscar, you mentioned earlier that the other associations or two other cane farmers associations refused to meet. What is the reason behind that?
Well, we all know Marlene, right?
Well, we don't all know, so I want you to tell us.
In 2015, what happened? Right?
Well, there has been a splintering of the cane farmers association.
You have to look at the historical context and how it has developed so far, right? In 2015, the company was pressed to reach an agreement, right? It couldn't do it with the association BCFA, so it was able to convince certain leaders to break away, right? And since then, they have been like their parents, right? And and whenever we meet in these committees, right, that decide these two institutions together with BSI vote against the BCFA. We have one clear example. In 2015, right, in May, there was a verification of sugar cane being done to find out how many cane is left in order to see how we proceed with the crop. And the recommendation that was made that BSI's quota be increased, series quota be increased, and all the cane quotas of each cane farmer be cut back. We said, look, on what you do, tell us the basis on that. Give us the study.
Yeah.
They refused to give us. Immediately, a motion was passed for that to be accepted. BSI and the other association voted in favor. We lost.
Yeah.
We objected. We demanded the document. We got the document. We did an analysis, and we showed whether that recommendation was flawed, and the two associations had to reverse the decision. And,
Yeah.
and so the thing is, no. BSI has informed us that they have accepted the conditions, right? But they said it is their leaders. They told us that their unions, their associations are run by a different system, by delegates. So their delegates approved
Without consulting
without
the
consulting.
farmers.
We're getting
yes.
that feedback from their members that
Yeah.
they don't know anything about this process.
Yeah.
Our process is different, right? And we said we give an official response after we've concluded whether we accept the conditions or not.
So let me ask you, because we're quickly running out of time for this conversation, and we need to get some very important points made. The 4 proposals that have been put forward, is it that you are rejecting them outright, or
Well,
are there particular amendments that you are perhaps willing, or you're getting the indication from the farmers that you are willing to accept?
I would put it on a more global perspective. We see that there is no link, no justification to tie the agreement, the present contract,
investment.
with the investment. They come saying that the BSI or ASR needs the assurance or the certainty of production.
Yeah.
And that begs the question of why? We only have 1 mill in the north, Marlene. We cannot sell our sugar cane to the Mexican mill in Obregon. For us to carry it way down to Santander, the distance is pretty far, more and more expensive,
Yeah.
more expensive transportation. So there is the guarantee, physical guarantee of the production. Moreover, the planting or the replanting of cane fields by producers, by cane farmers, has not stopped. That has been a continuous practice. So there is a moral commitment also on behalf of the farmers of keeping up the production on our responsibility, which is produce cane. So the justification of or tying the agreement with the investment plan, we don't see the link between it, right? So that's our general perspective.
And from your consultations with ASR BSI, if these proposals are not accepted, they will not venture into the investment.
What we're trying to let BSI understand, right? Their offer of these, the presentation of these proposals, right, is fine. But let's put it in the context of a negotiation process, okay? And this is where our members are also leaning towards, right? Investment, we welcome it, we want it, right? But let's sit down and negotiate. It is there already in the contract, right? We should be able to trust each other. They're saying that they don't want a repetition of the disruption of sugarcane supply that occurred. I think we have moved beyond that now, okay? I think we can, when we're negotiating, as I said, we're negotiating this contract, we're not negotiating the entire thing. BSI, when Mr. McLachlan was here with you, he was trying to let the public see items in the contract that we are interested in negotiating and in not showing what conditions they are putting forward. So he's trying to distract, right, the attention or the focus on things that don't really be looked at and things that really need to be looked at. They don't want the public to see. The 35%, I don't think we'll be able to touch that now, right? But yes, there are certain things in the contract that need to be looked at, see how it could work better, right? Make it better, and you will be able to get your assurance. We'll be able to see, okay, we could avoid certain things in the future and improve the working relationship.
And another point I wanted to touch on was looking at January 2018, which is the completion of 3 years of the agreement, and it is actually when you can open the door to renegotiation.
Well, even before, because the contract calls for a 3-month period. And in fact, what BSI has in fact done with this letter is like, opening a
Well,
process.
I was going to get to that because what I hear you saying, and perhaps you can clarify, is that your concern is that accepting these proposals now will somehow jeopardize what you can negotiate in
No.
January 2018.
Accepting the conditions means no negotiation. It's out of the question. We continue. Life continues. The river continues to
7
flow
years.
towards the sea. Right?
Until the completion of 7
Until
years.
2022, right? So we can't bother open with mouth, we can't bother comment, we can't bother consult or anything. So that's what that means,
Okay.
accepting those conditions. Not accepting it means, okay, by the virtue of the sending the letter is like, you could interpret that, let's interpret it as a process to start the negotiation because under the contract we need to give 3 months notice if you want to renegotiate, right? And we intend to do it.
Have you prepared positions that if the representatives of ASR are listening and realize that what you want is the ability to be able to provide feedback before a decision is made and it be taken into consideration, have you prepared positions as to what your decisions are to the specific amendments so that the process isn't prolonged?
We don't want to air this out in public. This should be a negotiation.
Of course,
to take
yeah.
behind. What we want to have clear now, right? I think the crucial thing we have to have established.
Yeah.
Let's agree to negotiate.
Okay.
Okay? That's the key thing. Let's agree to negotiate. Because if you don't agree to negotiate, whatever you do in preparation for that will be meaningless, right? Okay? So when Mr. Mark came here, it's like, look, we're investing this thing.
This is what they
you
need.
need to accept this condition. We're saying, okay, go ahead with the investment, but we don't accept the condition. Let's agree to negotiate. And once we agree to that, we could forget about the airing anything in public. We get behind closed doors.
And
We
work
start to
out your
develop or
arrangements,
work
yeah.
it out,
Yeah.
right? Okay, as private part.
Yeah.
But he started it last week by bringing it out to trying to gain public sympathy for an investment. So we had to come out to you and say, well, look, it's not as it would appear. They always try to paint BSCFA as the party that is against any development. We're not, right? We're just trying to ensure that it's fair, right? Not because you're a multinational with so much resources, so much technology, right? You can come and dictate, right? And so on. Because it's just like, I doubt the government, as the government has said, the IMF want to put conditions. It's the same thing, right? The government is trying to fight for its country, it will not accept conditions. It's similar, right?
Well, I think you've made your message very clear that the BSCFA wants to have the door open for negotiation on this issue and not simply accept predetermined terms from ASR BSI. One thing we know for sure is that this is a very important industry to the country, and it is as the producers, the cane farmers, and the manufacturers as ASR BSI, any progress made is beneficial to both of you and by extension to the country as well. So we really hope that there is a resolution made in this issue as soon as possible. Do you have a scheduled meeting with ASR BSI or a call back to the table?
We have been having talks still, you know.
Okay.
I think last week, this week, last week Thursday, we went to them, right? And we told them, give us some more information on this matter,
Okay.
right? Okay. But still, we're trying to see if they could accept the proposition, negotiate, let's negotiate, right? Okay, rather than just, because you have the other two associations accept, then we have to fall in line. It doesn't really, it doesn't really. And another thing, let's talk, you said the importance of the industry to the economy. We got to be very clear. Importance in what sense? They keep saying it's important for jobs, for investment, for foreign exchange, but we have to see how these things translate into the daily lives of the people up there. What's the sense of having a good foreign exchange base and you have a lot of unemployment, a lot of poverty in the north, right? Shouldn't we balance the two, right? Okay, and shouldn't we? What's the sense of you having a big rate of return by a few investors and you're having a huge amount of misery and unemployment there? We need to balance it too, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we really hope that we can hear that the resolution is made sooner rather than later, especially as you head into your harvesting time in a couple months. So, of course, keep us updated, and we appreciate you coming in to share your perspective.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the child protection system in Belize. So stay tuned.